Don't forget, I ain't forgot that because the skin needs it. And so with all that being said, and the things that we do here out of the mud is try to get messages and alert the community what's going on. And Saturday the 13th, come check your girl out. I'm going to be at the, I think it's the Michigan Event Center. Let me see that flyer right there. I'm going to be at the amateur night. I know they got a big flyer of it, but check it out, check it out, check it out. Show some support to Stomping Ground Entertainment and come on out and do your thing. I'm not sure if you can still sign up, but come out and show some support. The audience, I was told and I heard, will be winning prizes as well, thanks to this organization. That's right. That's a good applause for that. So transitioning from trauma to triumph. Serenity. In order for a person to even acknowledge trauma and the triumph of the trauma, you got to turn it down. So the transitioning portion of it is what we need to understand, what needs to happen, right?
Yes.
That needs to happen. So I did a little bit of research today looking up some of that, and I kind of went over a little bit with you. There are like 4 stages of trauma. One of the stages is acute, which is a single event that happened to you or someone. Mm-hmm. Chronic, repeated or prolonged. Complex, which is a multitude of everything. And vicarious, I might be saying that wrong, or secondary, which means you're witnessing or you heard it. So in your opinion, the trauma to triumph, what can you explain to our viewers what that means to you?
Oh, wow. Okay. First of all, I'm in the middle of transitioning from a trauma to my triumph.
Okay.
And trying to think of how to begin, but I want to say what you wrote down, like the 4 stages, is interesting because I believe that I'm acute and mixed with a little bit of chronic, which is prolonged.
Okay.
What I went through was an ending of a very long marriage, and a lot of things happening in that marriage and after the marriage, in the separation, and even in the divorce. And there was something physically that happened to me that traumatized me after the fact in the separation, because I realized that, oh, now you have to deal with this physical
and that's
thing.
The chronic of it all, right?
Right.
Okay. Oh, wow.
So, but transitioning from that trauma to that triumph, I feel like I'm in the beginning of my triumph stage.
Okay.
And when I was telling you earlier, and we'll get to talking about some of the things that happened, when I was getting dressed today, I was looking for another particular shirt that I wanted to wear that said "Pretty Girl with a Pretty Heart." And that in of itself is not even just talking about somebody being pretty and cute and all that. Having a pretty heart is, for me, a strongness, a kindness, and everything. But as I was going through the clothes, I found this shirt that I have on today. It says,
"Can y'all see that shirt?
Fell down 7, got up 8." And I feel like I'm on my 8th mark right there. In that 8th mark, my triumph of getting away from my trauma was recently moving back home.
All right. Now, I know there's a lot of y'all out there that's going through your own stages of life for trauma to triumph. For me, I think mine was more complex. It was a lot of things that caused me to experience trauma. Mm-hmm. And as every day I'm trying to better myself, be the better version of myself, I am going through a lot of triumphs because the victory is mine. I'm going to figure out how to get to that without failing. Although nobody wants to fail, right? No. But we run into these brick walls that alter us and get in our way to stop us, because also with the trauma to triumph, there are causes. And some people run into the causes of abuse, neglect, disasters, violence, serious accidents, the loss of a loved one, or sometimes racism. Even though I know a lot of people don't like talking about that, but it still plays a part in everyday life with people going from trauma to triumph. If you're out there and you want to chime in with us, give us a call, 248-820-5053. We're here with you today at Out of the Mud Inc. And I want to hear what you got to say. Let Serenity and I know that we're not by ourselves, because I know we're not. So Serenity, even with the you moving back here to
Mm-hmm.
Michigan, where are you coming from?
I'm coming from Missouri,
Missouri.
St.
The show
Charles,
me, is that the show
Missouri.
me state?
Yeah.
Ah, well, what you working with? No, just kidding. What you gonna show us?
But
You gonna show us that you own number
yeah,
8 and you gonna keep on
right,
going up.
definitely,
That's right.
definitely. And speaking of that, I really feel like leaving was it got to a point where it had to happen, and I fought it for so many years, and for
You
so
mean leaving
many leaving
Missouri?
Missouri.
Okay.
Yeah, it finally what's the
Came to
thing,
a head.
yeah, it came to a head and I needed to go because so many things was happening. But I was thinking about this trauma that happened to me, whereas a lot of people will say, oh my god, all you did was go through a divorce or a separation, but there's a lot of other things going on in that.
In that.
And a lot of people, my family and some of my friends, couldn't understand why I stayed in the trauma of that so long, or just thinking that, oh, you just dealing with a breakup, it's just a man, get over it. But it was much more than that.
Right.
There was much more than that. And a lot of people, they felt that they could sympathize with me, but they couldn't
Oh,
empathize with me.
I like
And
that.
they didn't understand why why you doing the things you're doing, or why you staying there so long. Because somebody might have sympathy for you and feel bad for you, but if they never experience a thing that you've experienced it, then they can't empathize with you, and they don't really understand it and get it.
All facts. That is
So
all facts. Because one of the things I had written down was, it's so much going on in our world and our homes and at our jobs, in our daily life, that is hard to overlook trauma,
mhm,
and is very easy to forget about the triumph, because how can you succeed going forward with something when you can't let go of the past?
yeah,
And that's the trauma. It's the trauma that holds us down. It's not like the crab in the barrel thing.
no, that's
It's
something
more
totally
like
different.
the weight of the world, the weight of your heart, the weight of your feelings. Like you said, the
Mhm,
sympathy, the empathy. There's a battle between the two of those. And a
right,
lot of people can't separate that. They can't separate it. They can't distinguish it. And a lot of them don't even recognize it.
right. And I think what people didn't understand with my situation was that I fell into a deep depression. I started having anxiety attacks. I started drinking way too much because I was trying to cope with the pain and the anger and the stress and the frustration and the fear, and still have to get up and be a mother.
Oh,
Now
yes.
it's being a single mother, a sad mother, a hurt mother, a mad mother. It was a lot going on.
Right.
So, and then my trauma set on a like emotional, mental, spiritual, because I lost my faith in what I was believing in.
Mm-hmm.
I got mad at God. There was a time where I got mad at God and kind of was like, you knew this was gonna happen, why you ain't stop it?
But that's the things that make us. Those are the things that build us. Those are the things that
Mhm.
give us the strength to know that we had to go through something in order to recognize where we're at now. Like now,
Yeah.
you can look back and smile
Mhm.
and say it wasn't the best, but I ain't
Right.
there anymore.
No, definitely,
Not there anymore. And now
definitely.
you're here, and you
Mhm.
know what I've been telling you. I'm all about it. That, and anybody out there that know me, y'all know that I'm going to keep it 100 with whoever it is, family member, good friend, false friend, uh just a friend, a guy friend, a girlfriend, you know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? Not a girlfriend
Yeah.
like that, don't get me twisted. But
Specifically.
I'm basically saying that sometimes you need that extra push from other people
Mhm.
to be in your corner to help you stand strong. I mean, for heaven's sakes, Jesus had people on the side of him to help
Right.
him with the cross. And he could have, they wanted him to do it
They wanted
alone.
to help him, yeah.
And they wanted to. It's people that want to help us out here. And this is the reason why I do what I do. I love this because you all out there matter to me. Your opinions, your thoughts, all that matter, whether they're good or bad. Give us a call, 248-820-5053. Let me know what you're thinking, because it's some hot topics from the drop out today. So I want to give a shout out to my good friend. I ain't gonna say good friend, but a very good friend that I like dealing with. And I can't wait for the video to come out, Dre Hood. Yeah, I'm shouting you out. He said something that stuck with me, and I've been saying it on every other show of mine. He said, if you change the things around you, the things around you will change.
Yes.
So
Uh-huh.
poetic. Y'all know I love that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it made me think about this. When you
Thank you.
close the gaps
Good.
on things that you cannot change, and then refocus on the things that change you, you might find where the deception is at of your life or where you're falling short at. You got to figure out somewhere there's a gap that we need to close as women,
Mm-hmm.
as men, as mothers, as fathers, grandparents. We have to do this because do you know that children are going through trauma?
I do know.
Even if it's just in a household with an adult that has been traumatized, they grow up into that, they see that, they deal with that. We want to make sure that our households are set on a good foundation of standards when we're dealing with our children, because they are our future. And if we don't take care of this stuff right now,
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna lose. They're gonna lose hope in us, and then
Right.
we're gonna lose hope in the city and the world. And I don't even want to begin talking about the government and all that stuff, because I'm not a politician, and I don't go through all of that. But I listen, I pay attention, because I gotta live here.
Right.
I can't leave America. I don't got no money like that. I'm broke.
When you say that about children going through trauma, especially seeing a parent go through it, like with my situation, my children, of course, was affected by that, affected by my actions, my reactions, my words. Um, and then they too started experiencing needing some therapy and things of that nature, because trauma alters you,
Mm-hmm.
and we know that alter means change,
Yes.
and the altering could be good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
And so the thing with my trauma, a lot of my family was hurting for me because they saw me change, and
Mm-hmm.
they saw me become different, behaving different, talking different, and they didn't understand it,
Mm-hmm.
and I couldn't explain a lot of things. um I had a lot of family members trying to encourage me, help me, uplift me, but sometimes it got to a point where some of them like threw their hands up, and that helped me too.
Because they
And
wasn't coddling the situation.
no, they weren't. My
Okay.
family don't do that. Then but they were encouraging me out of love, but it got to a point where um I don't know if I should say this, but
It's up to you.
okay, you my cousin. I don't think a lot of people know that, but this thing that hurted me once when you were talking to me about the situation, because you was talking to me about it so much, and things that I was doing and saying, you was not understanding it, and you was telling me the same stuff over and over again, but
Mm-hmm.
it was hard for me to process it at the time because mentally I was having some trauma.
Yes.
But this one
But I
thing
never gave up on you. That's the
you
big thing.
didn't, but this one particular time you said, I cannot talk about this anymore. I can't talk to you anymore. This is crazy. And you didn't talk to me for a while, but
Mm-hmm.
I know you didn't stop praying for me.
That's correct.
And that hurted me to my heart, to my soul, because we are close and we always
Yeah.
been close.
I want to address that, because that is absolutely true. And I want to say this to all of you, because we're not the only family members that have gone through these things. So what she's saying is true. I did tell her that. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I also have my own trauma. I
Mm-hmm.
also had my own trials and tribulations that I was going through, and I couldn't absorb the things that was
Mine.
happening when I was trying to give my best to you that I thought would help me as well. So I'm saying
Mm-hmm.
stuff to you thinking it was going to help me, and it really didn't help me either. But I couldn't. I had too much on my shoulder to absorb more in order to give a better output to you. I had to
Mm-hmm.
back away. I
Yeah.
had to, but I didn't back away as in saying that I'm never talking to you again. I
Right.
don't want to deal with you. It was at that moment for that particular thing or
Yeah.
person was was such of a heavy laden on you that in order for you to relieve a little bit of, you spoke about it repeatedly,
Mhm.
It was a repetition thing.
Right.
And by that repetition, I heard it a lot, probably more than most would sit and listen. And then at one
Yeah,
point, I was like, I
definitely.
can't do this. So
Right.
that's the reason why. So it wasn't that I wanted to not do this. I wanted to, and I'm still there. And I'm
Yeah.
still going to do it. And I
Yeah.
never gave up. And I pray for my enemies.
Mhm.
I pray for family. I pray for friends. I sometimes forget to pray for myself. But I'm glad I got people in my
That
church
pray
house
for
that pray
you.
for me,
Yeah.
that help uplift me. And every Sunday when I see them, they remind
Mhm.
me of the strength that I have in me. I am a resilient woman, and so are you. And
Mhm.
it's a lot of you out there. So if you're out there and you got something you want to chime in and say, give us a call, 248-820-5053. And if you don't want to talk, hit the chat line. We'll see what you're saying. We'll holler back.
Yeah,
But
call and chat.
today is a very well needed conversation with the public, because too many people out here are trying to sweep it under the rug
Right.
or ignore some people. And you
Mhm.
said the key word, depression and anxiety. A lot of that
Mhm.
causes that. When people ignore you or don't want to deal with it, it may make you feel, well, why do I want to be around them anyway? Why do I want to do this?
Mhm.
But then because of the strong woman you are, because this is my GI 40 poo. That's an inside joke, but she know what I mean by that. But and I told her, I said, Soldier, put your boots on the ground.
Mhm.
Get your poop in the group, get your stuff together, get them boots on the ground, stand up, soldier.
Yeah.
I said these things, and
She
I'd
said
never been
that
in the
a lot,
service.
reminding me that I was a soldier and I went to the war. Like this thing right here cannot break you. Another cousin was hurt and upset about it too, and was crying about it because just couldn't understand, because like you said, y'all knew me to be a strong person,
Mm-hmm.
smart person, sweet
Mm-hmm.
person, but the trauma,
Broke you a little bit.
it did.
And I'm gonna tell you, I like to say these words. I may be broke, but I'm not broken. I may
Mhm.
fall into a lot of pieces, but I can put myself back together. My best backup plan is to get back up.
Fell down 7, got up 8.
You better say it. You better say it. These are real deal I'm talking, telling my truth,
Right.
because it's healthier for me to explain these things, talk about these things, and at least see if there's somebody else out there that relate with me. Like I
Right.
know you do.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a couple other friends out there that do as well. I'm not sure if y'all chiming in, but if you are, come on, girls, get on the line. Let me know what's going on.
And
But
fellas.
yeah, and fellas, I welcome you all too, because you guys may be experiencing a lot of these things,
Mm-hmm.
because I know people, guys, that really was all in for a female and would give them their all, and next thing I know, they're like, no, I guess I wasn't the one, or I guess
Right.
this, that. You never know. You never know.
Yeah.
People have their different ways of life.
Yes, definitely.
But the biggest thing is, what I want to say is, we as human beings,
Mm-hmm.
we need to do a few things better about ourselves and in our homes, because it
Yes,
always starts in the home
definitely.
first. I want to read something out of my book, page 8. This is a poem that I wrote back in 2015 when I wrote this book. This poem is called To Start Anew. Nervous, scary, calm, excited, wondering if you're welcomed or invited. Smile, laugh, seek to understand, choose to win or try to fit in. To start something new is an experience you must overcome. To start something new is a wonderful feeling, like life has just begun. There is a first time for everything, which will soon be a thing of the past. However, first impressions do last. Keep going strong, you won't go wrong. So own this new start and own it in your heart, because that's where all the beauty of everything begins. We can win, y'all. We can win. We can beat this thing that's called
Mm-hmm.
trauma, transitioning from
From
trauma
trauma
to
to
triumph.
triumph.
We can
Right.
win, y'all. We can do this.
Yeah. You have to um I know like people are probably wondering, well, how did you come out of it? How did you come out of it? It just, for some people they'll have someone to help them pull them out of it, but for me it was some legal things and coming to a head, looking at my children and just realizing, for me it was just like enough was enough, because it gotten to the point where, after the legal trouble, I had to really look at my kids. And people might think, well, you should have been thinking about them all along, but that's neither here nor there. When it
Correct.
came to the point when I finally woke up, I had a decision to make. I said, do I want my kids to visit me in jail, or do I want them to visit me in another state? Because one of the reasons why I stayed so long, by us getting a divorce there, we ended up having joint custody.
Correct.
And he always kept telling me, and I always was gonna leave, but he always kept telling me, well, we got these kids together, you're not taking my kids, or and even a lawyer was like, well, then when you have these type of joint custodies, 9 times out of 10 you won't be able to leave another state. So I had these words in my head making it seem like, or making me feel like I couldn't leave. And I felt like I was fighting so many other things that was going on.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have the strength.
Different triggers was coming about from that.
Yeah, and I didn't have the strength to add another fight. So I'm like, now I got to go to court and fight for my kids. But I'm trying to get to a point about accountability too. When I finally decided that, I first of all, I think he would come and let them visit me in jail, and I wouldn't want them to see me in jail or not be able to hug me, or I'm
Mm-hmm.
behind the glass. And I said, it's better for them to come to another state to visit me than to
Mm-hmm.
go visit me in
Yep.
jail.
Yes, ma'am.
And I just also knew that, I finally realized that the environment that I was in I wasn't going to heal there, because I was dealing with triggers. Um, and I decided I just needed to leave,
Mm-hmm.
because I wasn't going to ever get to my triumph. I was
Mm-hmm.
going to stay in the trauma had I stayed in Missouri.
Yep. And my transitioning from trauma to triumph was, I come from a long line of alcoholics, And my mother was an alcoholic, which she passed away from being an alcoholic. My father was an alcoholic. My grandfather was an
Yep.
alcoholic. It's a long line slew of them, okay? I found myself as a child growing up, whenever I was hungry, I would drink, sneak my mom and dad's alcohol so we wouldn't be hungry because we were poor. We didn't have food. So I went through this transition in my life, and I was like, you know what? When I got grown, it got to the point where I would tell, when I was married, I tell my husband, I don't care if we don't eat nothing, but them kids gonna eat. I don't care if I
Mm-hmm.
fix them bacon and eggs for dinner, a cake, or whatever it is. They ate. I drank.
Mm.
And I got to the point I was a functioning alcoholic.
Yep.
And one day I decided that, you know what? I need to change myself. I'm
Mm-hmm.
growing up. I'm getting older. I can't keep doing this. I
Right.
keep going into the same problems.
Definitely.
And what was my biggest wake up call? 3 years ago, doing a favor for a friend. And I got stopped by the cops and I had to go to jail and deal with a bunch of legal stuff that I didn't even want to.
Mm-hmm.
And that broke me. It made me wake up and say, girl, what is you doing? You could have done this. You could have done that. You could be
Right.
behind bars. You anything. I stopped drinking then. Transitioning myself. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
need the law to tell me to do it.
Right.
I started myself. Now, as the 3 years passed by, I said, you know what? I disciplined myself a lot. When my birthday came, I said, I want a wine cooler. I had a wine cooler.
Mm-hmm.
Another holiday came. I was able to take a sip and not get drunk or take a drink. I learned that because of my trauma.
Right.
I was traumatized by going to jail. I ain't never been to jail. I was like, I'm grown as ever, and I ain't never been to jail.
Right.
You know, and then I was traumatized by going to court, being in front of a judge, that my life was in their hands. And I got two
I
kids.
experienced that.
Even though my
And that's
kids
what I
was
was talking
grown, I got
about.
grandbabies.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, wait a minute, girl, get yourself together. And then when the Lord found me at my low, I didn't try to run no more.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped running.
Yeah.
And when I stopped stalling and crawling, all the walls started falling. And I answered my calling, and now I'm happy.
Yeah.
I ain't rich. I ain't poor, but I ain't rich. I ain't well off. I'm just there.
Mm-hmm.
I am.
You're
I just heard somebody say
right
that.
now.
I am.
You're striving.
I am striving. Look, RBT.
And you know what?
Real blessings thrive. This girl right here.
I ain't gonna say who gave you that name.
Oh yeah, we know.
No.
Right here. We brainstorm all night long for that name because my cousin Tamika, my publicist, she said, you cannot be Redbone Trouble no more. Right. She said, you're manifesting trouble.
You gotta speak over yourself positively.
And I have been. And I'm very thankful that you, who always encouraged me,
Mm-hmm.
even though I'm a little older than you,
yeah,
you've always encouraged me. As kids, you used to read us stories. She used to make up stories, y'all, as a kid. And when she got in trouble, that one we always say, "Go see." She got in trouble. She's like, y'all got me in trouble. See,
I was like a movie projector.
Yes, SpongeBob,
standing
all
in
that.
front of y'all, telling y'all stuff. But
even
you know
now,
what?
With your wanting to write your fiction in short stories,
yeah,
I think that would be awesome for you because you entertained us as kids.
Yeah. I'm definitely getting back to my writing, and I want to write a memoir about this, what I went through.
That will help somebody. I want to give a shout out to Terralisa King Kyles, my sister in Christ, my sister in friendship and everything. She has a book that she's going to be dropping soon called As a Woman Thinketh. And oh my, I'm telling you, I can't wait because I want to get her on the show and display this book and have her talk about it again because it touches avenues of what you're talking about. And so that's another encouragement thing I'm pushing your way. So your memoir is going to be something that's going to help you get back to you.
Yeah.
Bring that you back out because that's the you that we all remember, you know? And I think that's important. That's why I write every day. I love to write. I
used to write a lot. And I used to read a lot. I remember one time it was like 4, 3 in the morning. My mom had came in to make me go to bed, and all I was doing was reading. And you know, I used to write all the time. I would just write on them. If I ain't had no paper, I would open up a brown paper bag from Hamity and write on the inside of it because I didn't have no paper.
I write on tissue, napkins, paper.
I wanted to, when I was laughing when you were talking about the drinking, and I had said that I started drinking too much because I never was a drinker.
Correct.
I never was a drinker. but I started drinking really bad because I was trying to cope. I was self-medicating myself.
Yes. And that ain't cool,
But
people.
that's why I also ended up getting into a lot of legal trouble
Yeah.
because I was trying to self-medicate hurt, pain, anger, stress, depression, but then I would go and do something because I was intoxicated, and then I would get in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
But I was laughing when you said, you stopped for a while, but then it came a time where you said, "Oh, I can handle having a glass of wine now." Because there were moments when I said, "I can't drink right now as much as I like having a glass of wine and watching a movie, eating popcorn." But I was like, I can't drink right now because when you got too much stuff going on in here that's
Hurt. It's
negative,
hurt.
and then you put alcohol in
Oh,
there,
yeah. Fuels
it's
it.
just not good.
It fuels
It's
it.
just not good.
It is not.
Whereas you can go usually have a glass of wine, you can laugh and talk and dance, and you go home, you just had a good time. You just had
Mm-hmm.
wine. But when you're doing that, when stuff going on in you, it just messes things
But I
up.
also think too, when you're having fun and doing these things, this is another traumatizing thing
Mm-hmm.
for me. I love hanging out with people. I love to dance. I love music.
Me too.
And at the end
Yeah.
of the day, and I don't have to drink and do any of that, right?
Right.
And at the end of
Yeah.
the day, when I go home, I'm alone. I
Mm-hmm.
don't have a companion to talk to
Mm-hmm.
or to relieve the stress of the day or to just have somebody to sit and listen to me, comfort me. And so that triggers me. And so when I go other places, I might not have the best attitude. So I have to
Mm.
check myself.
Yeah.
I have to check
Yeah.
myself all the time,
Right.
because I know that's not cool. Like I'm gonna give I shout out a lot of people who mean things to me. Marjai Marquita, very beautiful voice, a lyricist. Some of the things she talked to me about is about self healing,
Mm-hmm.
healing from within, listening to our ancestors, doing these things, bettering ourselves, getting more in tune with who we are. And that's the reason why I wrote this book. It's called Letters to My Lord. Who am I? Because I want to know what journey am I on? What am I doing? I know
Mm-hmm.
I have a purpose in life, and I think everybody does. I don't
Yes.
feel that we're here to do nothing but just run amok in the world and cause problems. Sometimes you got to have a little faith. I have faith through my poetry. My poetry is what helped me become more in tune with the Word of God
Mm-hmm.
and with my family, because you got to have a good sound foundation in your family in order to see and receive the message. And then this one right here, y'all, this one took me out. I love it. Recipes for Salvation. If you want to satisfy your hunger of anything about the Lord, this book right here, that's the one. That's the one.
Yeah,
But
get our books. Get our books.
yep. But in general, I got a couple more coming out. Tales of a Sinner, and I can't even think of the other one. Oh, it's in my head.
You wrote it.
Yes. Discovering Him, and it's spelled HYM, not HIM. So like the
Mm-hmm.
hymns of the Bible, right? Discovering Him. That's basically every poem in there is pretty much got a little
Mm-hmm.
bit of a song piece
Okay.
in it, or it has
Like the
something
hymnals.
refer a hymn note, has a hymn note or
Mm-hmm.
something, a verse of a song. I'm not copywriting or plagiarism,
Yeah.
but I would like sing it, put the
Right.
quotation like it's a song part.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that as Americans, as people, women, men, even the children, everybody needs an outlet.
Yes,
You
definitely.
need an outlet.
Or you going to self implode.
Implode. We don't
Yeah,
want to implode.
definitely. Especially if you're experiencing trauma. And being a veteran, there's been many nights when I've called the crisis line because sometimes it was 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning, and people say call me anytime. But sometimes you they sleep. Honestly, people say that, but they sleep.
Right, right, right.
Um, and that have saved me a lot. I've called and talked. It's anonymous. You don't got to tell them your name. Sometimes I didn't even tell them my real name, and their job is to be there 24/7 and to talk to you.
I didn't know that.
Yes,
Will they talk to
definitely.
anybody or just
Yes, they
so it
will.
ain't got to be
Yeah,
just
I
a
mean,
veteran?
because 988 is the crisis line, but
I didn't
I
know that.
always push one because it'll say For veterans, press 1.
I got you. So,
So,
anybody out there experiencing any transitioning from trauma to triumph, and you need somebody to speak to, and your significant other or family member is not available,
right.
988
988.
988. Please dial that number because we want to see you survive. We want to see you thrive. We want to see you get better. We want to see you get
Mhm.
it out of the mud. I want to give a shout out to my guys, James Mayfield, the greatest Mayfield, George F. Grundy II, and Larry Lott. Just being a part of Out of the Mud has changed my life a lot. And I've been talking with Serenity when I first started doing this. I was
Yeah.
very happy and excited. I'm still happy and excited about it. I feel that it's a lot of people that don't recognize or understand the message of
Mhm.
what this organization is doing. They're
Yeah.
giving us a voice to assist and help and receive messages, you know.
Right.
And George F. Grundy does the Veterans of Now, the VON,
Okay.
and you're a veteran, and we
Yes.
know some other veterans. Charlisa's a veteran, and I think that a lot of veterans get swept under the rug because people think because, like I said to you before, you're a soldier. You're a
Yeah.
soldier. You're supposed to be able to
Supposed to
withstand
be
these things,
strong
but
and
you
handle
got to
stuff.
really think about it. The empathy and the sympathy of it all, sometimes that was a disconnect for me. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna say I'm sorry that I didn't realize that. I know now, and that's
Mhm.
what this show is about. Red alert, red alert. RBT snaps in chat
Yeah.
because I'm gonna give you the message what I perceive it as, and I'm expecting you to call me and let me know what you think or give me your input. And I love having guests on my show that have real deal things in life that they're going through. And your message is great today. I
Yeah, and
love
I,
it.
I didn't even go into a lot of detail of it all, which is fine. But I don't know how much time we got left, but I want to touch on something real
Go right ahead.
quickly. Also, transitioning from trauma to triumph is about taking accountability.
Oh yeah, we talk about that a lot.
And when I was doing a lot of the things I was doing, first of all, I was intoxicated and all that stuff, depressed, angry. I was taking accountability, but not really. And I think a part of my coming home also is me taking accountability and trying to get a fresh start within myself. And my kids are still there with their dad, and that was a choice we all made so that they can finish the school year,
Of
first
course.
of all.
Of
But
course.
I made this choice to save myself
Mm-hmm.
because, like I said, when it came to a head and I got into trouble legally, then I got into trouble again. I still got to fix something, but I'm taking accountability for
Amen.
that.
Amen.
But I told my kids, I'm not leaving you. I'm leaving to save myself for you
Mm-hmm.
because mom can't heal
Amen.
here. Mom
Amen.
can't get better here. This is not a good environment for me. And if I'm not doing good for y'all, if I'm not doing good, I can't do good for y'all.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they experience that a lot,
Mm-hmm. They tell
So,
you that on the plane. Save,
right.
you
When
gotta.
the thing drop, put it
Mm-hmm.
on yourself. So the mask, you can save someone else. And so I feel like, coming home is a part of me getting to my triumphant place. But I'm accountable to my children and I need to get better for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I was not getting better there. I did not have any family and I
Mm-hmm.
did not have any close friends. I was isolated. And
Yes.
when you're depressed and isolated, that's not good.
It's not
That's
good.
not
You
good
be too
at
much in your
all.
thoughts and everything, don't you?
Right. And then
Mm.
you drink too much and then you get in trouble. And so I just had to take some accountability and I couldn't continue to blame everything on
Mm.
him,
Mm-hmm.
even though there was some things he did even after the fact that was like triggering me. But it's almost like when your brother be bothering you.
Mm-hmm.
We're this close, but I keep looking at you. I lick in my tongue. I do like this, but I don't touch you all the way. At some point, I'm provoking you, right? I'm
Mm-hmm.
indirectly provoking you. Well, when you get up and decide to throw me out this chair and hit me 15 times, my nose bleeding, everything like that, the accountability for me was I was provoking you. I was triggering you.
Right.
I have to take accountability for that. But then you have to take accountability about how you reacted.
Yes.
And that was me. I had to take accountability for how I was reacting
I got you.
and not blame it on him. Because, yeah, I can do this all day long. But then if you hit me, I didn't really touch you.
Yeah, you were provoking.
But I had to take accountability.
Well, I do want to touch on this as well, since we're going from the transitioning from trauma to triumph. I think I got a caller or somebody on the line. Oh, I got some. My producer wanted. Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
So I just hearing what you're saying. So you saying you were provoking the person.
No, the person was provoking me.
So the person was the person that was nagging you, and then allegedly you would just go wild out on them. Okay.
In a nutshell.
I was trying to understand that part. So, all right.
Triggers.
So,
Yeah.
so you went all super force on them. Like, do you remember
Something
where I'm
like
from?
that.
No, it don't matter where you're from.
FLIT.
Right. Yeah.
You don't want to mess
I didn't
with me.
touch you though. But
Right.
you aggravating me.
That's all right. Well, now that you're on the line, I just got to ask you a question now.
Go ahead.
So you're a veteran,
Most definitely.
and you've spoke with me before about your experiences with different things that may trigger you or give you that uneasy feeling. How do you handle it to close the gap for that for yourself when you're dealing with, let's say, a person in your family?
Well, first off, I try to stay mindful that I do have a short fuse.
Okay.
And it's really short. And I try to be mindful that I can't do and be in circumstances that would necessarily mean that you cooler heads would rise. Now, yeah, can I communicate and interact with people? Yes. But when people are like what she was saying, if you're purposely trying to aggravate or create an environment that causes a response, I don't have a problem responding.
Okay.
So, case in point, I was at a location, allegedly, going to go grab something to eat, me and somebody I was with. They check you at the door. Okay, I really don't like being checked at the door. I don't like going to places like that, but that's part of it.
Right.
So I go there, the person patted me down, and then they patted me in a spot a little too heavy, and I punched him. And this dude's like 6'5", 6'6", looking at me like, you're not supposed to. I said, you up here tagging me in the joint. Like, so what you think? This ain't that.
I know that's
so.
Right.
It's just when I respect people, but when I feel like my respect has been taken for granted, then I abruptly change. Like, I'm gonna be light with it because I don't want to bring no direct. But I spoke to you about different people that were in my life.
Yes.
And I abruptly went a different direction because it wasn't. How was it benefiting me at all? I don't have a problem being involved with people and having giving what I have, but I need some out of it too that makes sense.
Right. And you know how to walk away without.
No, I don't. So I have to.
Oh, you have to.
So I don't know how to walk away.
Okay.
So I have to force myself and hurt myself to walk away.
Okay, wait a minute. Pause. You have to hurt yourself.
Yes. Whether it hurt my feelings, whether it hurt my money, whether it hurt my whatever, I have to walk away or it's going to hurt me.
Now I understand. Beyond that.
Yeah.
Okay. So for me, hearing that changes a different perspective of the transitioning. Because if you know these things happen, the transition really is not really there, right? You're not transitioning from trauma to triumph. You're just basically removing yourself from it.
Well, I think it's levels to what you're talking about.
So every level is a
trauma to triumph. That's when you're choosing to do things that you can control. Some stuff, when you're going through a traumatic or you're growing through trauma, you can't control it. It's just it's second nature or
Mm-hmm.
first nature.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me.
Yep.
And especially in it using. So what people tend to do, the United States military is only 1% of the country's history in fires population.
Okay.
So 99.9% of the people that say they hard thug gangster, all that, they ain't did nothing compared to what we've done. Period. I don't care what you think. We've done what y'all done plus some.
Oh wow. That's
So the
scary.
same streets y'all lived and grew up in and got threatened in and sold dope in, we survived those too. Plus we went to the military.
Yeah.
And we survived. And we seen people, all kinds of stuff happen. So digress from that. Now you're talking about people that are institutionalized
Ooh.
twice.
Well, yeah.
Whatever the streets say you institutionalized by, then what the military institutionalized you by. And now you have to decompress from that. And how I explain transitioning from the military is, imagine being a NASCAR driver and you're good at your job. You're doing 200 laps, 200 miles per hour, and they give you this big party at the end, then the keys to a Prius and tell you have to go 35 miles per hour in gridlock traffic with the music you hate the worst. And
Oh,
that's your
that drive me
transition.
crazy.
Exactly. So now you're trying to figure that out, and you're back in this environment where everything's moving so slow.
Right.
And now you done married somebody or got with somebody that you think is going to last forever, and they can't deal with the things that you've been institutionalized to deal with.
Wow.
Because now they make your
what you
stuff.
was explaining to me.
Yeah.
Wow.
So now we have to be quiet and sit there while you making our situation look smaller than what it is, because you should just be able to deal with it. Okay. All right.
Now, how you explain it, what you said, I can see it now. I can see it. The thought is there. I can see it. I can see it. And I hope it's a lot of other you out there that hear this, because this is serious. And this is a time of the season where people really lose focus and lose hope and feel like they don't have nothing to move forward with. You do. You really do. You do. After the triumph, there comes the joy, right?
Right.
You have great success and victory. You have stories, good stories to tell. You have the feeling of joy or satisfaction from winning or moving forward.
Yes.
You are successful because you achieved, even if it's baby steps, you've achieved something and moved forward. Your strike number 8, that's your achievement. And it's a historical or a ceremonial procession that you say, you know what, like I did. I went through this trauma. And I went through the transition to the trauma. Then I tried to do the new trials and be going to the joy and the triumph. And I said, I can have myself a glass of wine. I can drink a wine cooler. It might take me all day because I really don't want it. I'm socializing.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm first to admit, I come from a long line of alcoholics.
Yeah,
I will say that on the day. I'm an alcoholic, but I'm not an alcoholic. You know, an alcoholic is a person who recognizes what they do. You know, I held myself accountable for what I was doing to my own self. You know, I stopped taking blood pressure medicine, everything. I don't take no medication. When I stopped drinking, I gave up the medication. My blood pressure went down. I didn't have to worry about it. I just paid attention to not eating too many fried foods or fast food, stuff like that. You know, Barbara came out. Barbara was born. Barbara the Belly, if y'all know who she is. I carry her with me every day. She speaks out of turn. She pops out when she wants to. I can't get rid of her. I'm trying. I'm telling you.
You know, not to cut you off, like when you was telling him, you asked him something about transitioning. So you said you can't remove yourself or something like that. Transitioning though is a removing.
It is.
It is a removing. Like when we say somebody passed away, we say, oh, my grandma transitioned this morning because she left this earth and went spiritually wherever. You know what I'm saying? We call that a transition.
Yes.
So it is a moving. So he did
remove
and
himself.
He do transition himself from that. I transitioned myself from the environment that I was finally able to say, oh man, if I keep staying here, because and it's also like Pastor Kevin was talking about yesterday, the cycles. I was stuck in a cycle there. And I was not able to heal.
We called it. Yep, it was a cycle. The chronic, repeated, prolonged.
Right. And I was stuck in a cycle. And he even said it too. And everybody knows this. When you keep doing the same thing And you was like, oh, this time I did this 20 times, but 21, something different gonna happen. That you crazy because you did it 20 times. They call that insanity.
It
And I was
is.
there like, okay, this time, I was stuck in my trauma cycle. And then, I was getting my anger and my hurt and all the things I was dealing with. I was being called immature. You immature. No, I'm
And the
not
alcohol was a
immature.
Band-Aid.
And that wasn't helping. No, I'm not immature. I'm hurt. I'm angry. I'm depressed. I'm stressed. I'm anxious. I'm not immature.
Right.
Now you're pissing me off.
Right.
And then, I go somewhere else. But transition
to the other place.
transition does mean removing yourself, like transportation. You transporting yourself to a different place.
I agree with that. I like that statement.
So, question: was in the marriage that you had to get out of? Was he also a veteran or in the military before?
Yes.
Okay. So, how did that play a factor? I mean, because it seemed like it would possibly make it a smoother ride because he would understand certain things about life that you understood,
I
and
think
vice versa.
I think personally, and I can't definitely say this for sure, I don't think he dealt with a lot of things therapy wise.
Okay.
Before military, during military, and after military. I don't think he dealt with a lot of stuff therapy.
He didn't hold himself accountable.
Well, it's not necessarily about holding accountable. You just don't know. When you're in the military, you're not it's not a pro thing to go and get any kind of medical assistance.
Oh, really?
If you have to get any kind of medical assistance, then you're broken. So, and if you're broken, you can't work. And if you can't work, that means you got to get out. And if you got to get out, that means that whatever career you had planned for yourself isn't what it's going to look like. So that means that whatever the institution teaches you to do, you need to be able to do it as long as you can and be unapologetic about everything that you do.
I remember Terralisa saying that you have to learn how to smile and be you when you get out of the military. Yeah. You lose yourself in there.
And you may have something you may have there is psychologists in there and stuff like that, but it's kind of like but don't really go. Don't go there, Okay. But then coming out, if you feel like you need therapy, you should get therapy. Go see the psychologist, go see a counselor, go see a therapist. And it's become a trend now, but I mean, therapy is good, especially Black people. We all right, what happened in this house, stay in this house. We ain't going to therapy. You don't need no depression medicine. You ain't going to talk to them doctors.
Yeah, but we need to get away from that.
Yeah, now it's more acceptable to go, and you should go.
It has to be a prescription, a balanced prescription of all of it, because we all got here in some facet from the keep that stuff in our house, and we all survived to a point. But some of the stuff that was kept in the house didn't need to be kept in the house.
That's true.
So it has to be a prescription of a balance of knowing that everybody don't need to be protected.
That's
and
true.
Then those that need to be protected need to be protected by every means possible. So if auntie this or uncle that is touching whoever or whatever, or if granddaddy this or grandma that is doing too much and beating the folks overly, then those things need to be addressed, because the people that need to be protected need to be protected.
That's right.
Because that's where that trauma comes from, that creates people that don't have the tools to properly adjust according to life the way they need to. Now, people can become successful and be diligent in things, but some folks in our community become successful due to trauma because they are afraid of being poor. They're afraid of being isolated. They're afraid of certain. There's no balance in it, so they'll sell out everybody that they know because they felt like there was no love when they were growing up.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That hurt me just listening to it.
Yeah. But I
didn't grow up like that, but that hurt me just to listen to it, because I do know that there are a lot of people that don't have the resources, like you
Mhm.
said, or have somebody to be there for them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's awful.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And you know what? But don't you think that the people who are committing the act needs help too?
They
Definitely.
do, but sometimes they so far. So this the thing is, to me, I take it and look at it based on where it was just asked and stated. Think of the Flint water crisis. They want to give all the money to the kids and none to the adults, but the adults have to raise the kids, make sure that they have stability, and they were poisoned also. So the onset that I see with how they chose just from outside in, I understand law is more complex, but the onset that I see is like, okay, they too far gone. They gonna die soon, or they'll figure it out. Just give it to the kids. But how are you not going to take care of the adults who are going to train the kids on how to take care of the money? And
Right.
then once the kids get the money, they don't know what to do with that stuff, so they're going to do some wild stuff. And then
Right.
on top of that, if this stuff is in a trust, they ain't going to really get to touch it no way, so they ain't even going to know what to do. So you screwing everybody over. So going back to what we're saying about trauma, some folks are so far gone from the things that they've been
Mm-hmm.
through
Out of touch. Yes.
that there's not much you can do. But yes, you do need to make sure that adults and folks that have created the trauma get the assistance to help too, and find some balance of
Mm-hmm.
what that is. But if a person has been touching kids, if a person has been doing, it's certain things that
Abusing elderlies.
to me is
Right.
just you can't give a pass to. It's
Right.
like,
I believe in that.
it's, I'm of the belief that some stuff, hey, you might need to lose a hand, an arm, a leg, and then deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it takes.
If your life ain't taken, then you can still live it, but you don't need those hands because them hands touching the wrong thing.
Yep.
You don't need them legs because they walk into the wrong place.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that.
When I watched that series called The Handmaid's Tale, that's what they was doing to people. Whatever you did
Mm-hmm.
wrong, you lost it. You talked too much, you lost your tongue. You looked at the wrong thing, you got lost the eye.
Wow.
Oh yeah, it was crazy.
I never
That show
watched
messed
that
me up. It
show.
seemed like that's where this country's going ahead to a little bit. I'll talk to you about that later. But it was a mess. It was a mess. But
And I'm gonna be quiet after this.
no,
So,
go ahead.
but the country, y'all remember the construct or the thought process of the deacons of defense?
No.
So the deacons of defense were mostly in the southern areas, and they were the ones that, in short, they were the protectors of the southern churches when folks like the Klan members and others wanted to come and blow them up and burn them down and all this other.
Mm-hmm.
So you had these people called deacons of defense saying, okay,
I didn't know
come
that.
if you want to, get these 12, and because you're not about to mess with our women and children. You're not about to take our land anymore.
Okay.
Y'all done
I
did what you're
heard of
gonna
that.
do, but you just come over here and see if it's gonna go that way. So, in some sense, everybody has an organization of criminality or protectionism. It doesn't matter which group it
True.
is,
Mm-hmm.
and they all have, we watch the movies because, Italian mafia is the strongest visual that we see when it comes to organized crime.
Organized crime. Yeah. It's a lot of that going on
So,
still.
but if you do something wrong, you get a penance. There's something you have to pay. You get some
Right.
transgression for what you
Yes.
do. So
Yes.
there has to be, if it's an organized crime, it has to be in every sense. And we used to have it in our community. There used to be
Wow.
things that, like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, we don't do that. You don't run this line. You don't go over it. But we have allowed ourselves to be taken over by every other community and directed by every other community, and
Mm-hmm.
then desensitized and not run our house the way it's supposed to. Everybody get their game from us. Everybody get their fashion from us. Everybody, regardless of what is said, the Black American, not the Nigerian, not the Haitian, not the Jamaican, the Black American, is the ones that people take the game from. Even the lotto or the numbers, it was perfected because of what happened from the Black American.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The number game came from us.
Yeah.
And then the
I
lotto
remember
came because they couldn't tax.
in
They
the
didn't.
Malcolm X movie, the black guy was running the numbers.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
Harlem Nights.
Delroy, remember?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh wow.
But the long thing then, so it's so many different things that we're allowing
This
to get
this sounds
loose
like a show.
that we shouldn't. Well, you know,
He do. That's what he do. That's what he do. That's George
You
Brunny the
so
second.
listen. Come on
I'm gonna
now.
be quiet now.
We
But
need an
yeah,
No,
episode.
you
Come
are
on.
right.
I
You're
love
right.
it.
Because
folks don't want to hear what I gotta say because
No, it's good what you're saying.
because I'm gonna go even deeper than that, and I'm gonna call names and all that stuff because it's just.
yep, you did that.
Well, what did it do?
There it
Oh,
go. It's
your
back.
phone was
Your phone
on
was on
that
top of that
thing.
thing.
Okay.
Yep.
Uh,
Well, this is all helpful, good information.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm proud to be sitting between two veterans of this American world we live in. And both of y'all have set the record straight for me when it comes to the mentality of transitioning, right? And I'm hoping we're able to touch that with other people out there because this is a message that a lot of people need to adhere to, listen
Yeah.
to it, utilize it, tune in. I just feel like, the message is so great and heavy that
Mm-hmm.
I think it's too much. They say too hot for TV, for cheesy. It's like some people might be afraid to tap in and say stuff because they think it shows vulnerability.
Yeah.
And it doesn't. It's like, like with me and the hair. I wore blonde hair for 18 years pretty much. And not blonde, but I bleached it. I never
Mhm.
dyed my hair, I just bleached it. And I've always wore the bleached blonde looking braids. And then one day I woke up and I cut them braids out. And I said, I got to do something different with my life. I'm not going into the next year, a phase of my journey of my life, bringing this old trauma with me and all this stuff. And I recall my Lord speaking to me about start afresh. I don't need these things.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If the wisdom inside of me is going to show through the gray hair that come out of my head, then I'm going to let it be. Not right now, though. I'm going to wait a few more minutes.
What? It's funny.
But I'm just saying, it's a time you got to change.
We are alike in so many ways because who cut their hair first? Did
You.
I do?
And I didn't even know she cut hers.
I had my locks was like right this far. I had grown locks for 5 years, and I think just before I came home or whatever, I cut them.
Mm-hmm.
I cut my locks, and I've been thinking about not dyeing my hair anymore. And everybody was like, "Are you going to keep them? You can reattach them?" I was like, "I don't want to reattach
That's dead hair,
these
and
locks."
those locks in my braids was attached to things that I don't want to be attached to anymore.
I burned
I let
them.
it go. You did?
I burned them. Yep.
I just throw mine in the garbage. I didn't burn them.
Well,
I mean, my hair was probably that
But it
long
was-
in the braid. Yours was your hair.
that
hair.
was my hair.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I know I said I wasn't gonna say nothing, but this is the last thing I'm gonna say on this show.
Mm-hmm.
When
Go ahead.
When the black woman, American and globally, chooses to get off of the beauty standards of the European and the Asian, that they got y'all on drugs about, with the hair weaves, with the eyelashes, with the makeup, then the world is going to change. But y'all got to get off them drugs.
Yep, the creamy crack, which is the perm. We call that the creamy crack.
The hair, all of it, all of the beauty standards, drug.
Look, I believe that, and I think that's the message that I got. And it was, I don't know how it came to me. Well, I do know. I was meditating, I was praying, and I was talking to God in my own way, and that was the message I got when I woke up. When I took a nap after crying my heart out and praying about I need change, I need healing, I need to do something different in my life. And I don't need a New Year's resolution because I don't make those. I didn't need that to tell me to start over.
Mm-hmm.
God gave me my guidance. That's the journey I'm on. So what I do from this day forward is to better myself. And if that means let go of the old me, it got to die. The poem I read Sunday at church, I read it on Sassy T, called Dead Sinner, Sinner. The sinner has to die in you. And every day you die to your flesh because we're only human. And like you said, when we get rid of the European look and all this stuff like this don't make me. I am not my hair. I am not my hair. And if y'all better be glad I didn't have no glass of wine or something, I would have probably snatched the wig and the head off. Hey, I ain't ashamed of it. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with
I'm
my
not
looks,
either, but
but I
I've
ain't gonna do
always
it.
been natural, I
I
don't
ain't
know
gonna
if
do it.
I don't know if I'll go back to the locks, but I just gonna let my hair grow out a little bit
I
more
am.
and
I'm gonna let
see
it
what
grow
I'm
out
gonna
a little
do
bit
with it.
more
But
and see what I can do
yeah,
with
I
it with
did.
the
I
color that
cut them
God gave
though.
me.
I cut them.
You know what I'm saying?
I loved my locks though, man. They
You used
were,
to get off the drugs. Me and my daughter used to call perms creamy crack. So
yeah, creamy
we got off
crack.
the creamy crack years and years. I ain't had no perm though in
Yeah,
about 20 something years. I ain't perm my hair. It's always been
yeah,
natural.
me either.
Always been natural. I don't no, but the BBLs and all these extra things people are doing to enhance their body and change things like that. Sometimes, I know when people decide to do these things, they do them for a said reason in life. But I also know that once you do that, you can't reverse it. And if you do reverse it, then you may experience some problems.
Yeah.
You may experience some problems. But just in general in life, as you live, you learn. And you got to learn from your mistakes. You have to. If you don't learn from your mistakes, I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to, what's that you said, the insanity thing? You're going to keep repeating those things over and
Over
over and
again.
over, and nothing's going to change. B. Marie. B. Marie has been following my shows, and I've been looking at things she posts. She works at the Flint Public Library.
Okay.
And one day, just out of the blue, I was somewhere and I saw her. Oh, I was at an event and she came. I saw her and we saw each other and immediately embraced each other. And I'm like, this is a beautiful Black woman who I've never seen in hair like this. I've always seen her as natural, right? She's always been natural. Beautiful soul, beautiful person. And I don't know if she has children or not or whatever, but it's just something inspiring about her every time I see her or she posts something and I read it. It's all inspirational stuff. And it's a lot of people that I hold dear that even I just met that's shown me things about you can live your life and not have all these extra amenities to do things.
Right.
And that's where I'm at now. I don't need a lot. I don't need a lot. I'd rather be rich in love than rich in money and material things. I'm not doing that.
No, we are not doing that.
We'll say that for the last episode ever. We're going off the air.
I'm not doing that.
My hair look like yours, honestly, right now.
Mine do too.
Promise you.
Mine do too.
Exactly.
With a
Even
lot of
kinky.
gray. With a lot of gray right here.
I ain't ashamed.
But I'm cool with my gray.
Yeah, I'm not
now,
ashamed of the
locks.
body that God gave me and what I have. I'm not. No, I'm gonna wear this hat and this hat.
Man,
I'm telling you,
one step at a time.
I'm enjoying this time to speak with you all. But I know as we do with everything else, things come to an end and the night must go on. And Barbara's hungry; she's ready to go. So I appreciate you tuning in. Hopefully, you got some good information from the show today. Hopefully, Serenity dropped down some things that you can relate to comes to transitioning from trauma to triumph. And hopefully what George F. Bundy II had to say enlighten you a little more on why things that trigger people or get people you give what you say you'll hurt yourself doing way more for other people, either to prove a point or to show your love or support when you really just need to take it back up, back off a little bit, transition move on.
He would rather hurt himself by moving away.
There we go.
And it's rather like hurting himself by losing money, hurting himself by losing time,
yes,
hurting himself by losing a connection. But that would be a good hurt, if that makes sense.
Spoken like a true veteran.
Yeah, y'all want me to speak on it?
Speak on it
before we go.
Speak on it before we go.
So, in the forms of relationships, so I have to lead. If I know a woman doesn't really have the same, we're not on the same page, but we have a good connection. I would have to leave because she's going to use everything she can of me and I'm gonna expect or want and always give her the benefit of the doubt on why she's not, and hope for something that's never going to happen, and I'll be the one hurt in the long run.
Gotcha.
Just using it in a relationship standpoint, and those things can be translated in a business sense and in others too. So I have to say, okay, wake up, leave. I don't want to feel comfortable. Leave. Wake up, leave. You in a pot of boiling water, but it's so comfortable. Leave now.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ever go back.
Because it's going to boil over.
But it felt so great. It was the best in the world. You know, it was motivating. It was inspiring. It was all it, but it wasn't healthy.
Right. Wow. You just gave me a thought for next Monday's show. Hopefully I'm gonna try to get Charlisa in here, me, you, and Charlisa, and you as well. Try to talk about some of these things that a lot of people don't realize what veterans are going through. And not just that we as women and men are experiencing because we have these inabilities inside of us, and we need to explain it to people, but they don't understand what we're saying. They looking at us as, oh, like you said, you can get over that. It's hard to get over things that affect you from within. Just like Margie said, you got to heal from within. And that's what we want to talk about. So we want to talk about on the next show how to heal from within, transitioning. We don't use that same word, but I'm just saying that now, from going from, dealing with heck of a discipline. Y'all had to be disciplined big time, right? Big time discipline. And there's a lot of people out here don't hold themselves accountable or try to discipline their life or their family or their loved ones. None of that. They just run amok, let it happen. So again, thank you, Serenity, for being on the show. Appreciate it. Hope you're available next week. And Charlize, if you're watching, listen, hope you're available next week as well. If not, I'm going to call you tonight and make sure you know this. All right. Well, it's been real, y'all. Red alert, red alert, red alert. RBT snaps in chat. Y'all see the sign. Over and out. Peace. Have a good day.
Bye.